Good day, my dear students. This is Krishna Chaitanya Nagaraj, Assistant Professor, GRIET. Today, we are going to discuss a topic from the course Artificial Intelligence, which is an open elective for you people. So, where we are in this topic? In the subject of artificial intelligence, today we are in Unit 1 with the topic of agents, rational agents, and peace. What is this peace? We will see very soon. PEAS. Now, the objective of this session is as you can see, we expect the student is expected to understand what an agent is, what it constitutes of, and also understand the notion of rationality, difference between a simple agent and rational agent, and comprehend concepts of writing PEAS. And the outcome we expect from you after attending this session is you shall be able to differentiate a simple agent and a rational agent, and shall be able to analyze the piece for an agent asked for. So, what is an agent? An agent is anything that can be viewed as perceiving its environment through sensors and acting upon that environment through actuators. Now, you should clearly understand this. Anything that can be viewed as perceiving its environment, what is around it, it should be able to perceive, it should be able to understand. Obviously, to perceive, it should have certain sort of input mechanism, could be a sensors, and once it understands the input from the environment, it may need to react. That's like acting upon that environment. To act upon, it should have some actuators. So an agent is anything that can be viewed as perceiving its environment through sensors and acting upon that environment through actuators. And we, for a simple example, we can take human agent. For human beings, we have eyes, ears, and other sensory organs, hands, legs, mouth. These can be used for acting upon actuators. So we receive information through eyes, ears, and other organs, sensory organs, and we act upon using hands, legs, mouth. So we can be considered as a human agent. In the same way, we can also have a robotic agent. In case of robotic agent, it takes inputs through the sensors like cameras and infrared range finders, for the sensors part. And then it has got certain motors. Various motors will be used as actuators. So that's basically an agent. I hope it's clear. Now look at the diagram. We have an agent which has sensors and actuators, and there is some environment. You can see on the left hand side, environment kept in the circle. From the environment, the agent takes certain inputs or gets certain inputs. We call them as percepts. Through the percepts it gets, that's nothing but your sensors will help you. And then in response to that percepts, agent will act, do some action which can change the environment. So here action is performed using actuators. So that's your complete agent. The question mark is there, we'll come to that point, please observe. So we are now speaking about agents and environments. I hope the diagram is clear. Now there is certain mapping that happens which compares the sensor input and identifies what output need to be performed. So an action to the sensory input, that is your agent function. The agent function maps from the percept histories to the actions. Now here we have a percept history. Percept history is something which is based on the previous experiences. We will come to this point later on. In the forthcoming sessions, we will discuss all these things more elaborately. So as of now, I can say a function f which has this p star denoted as the percept histories whatever are being there, mapping to a particular action. So the agent program, we will have certain sort of now program which actually runs. The agent program runs on the physical architecture to produce the function of that mapping. So agent is not just physical thing. An agent is a combination of architecture plus program. We should understand this. Agent is not just physical thing. It also got a program which is an agent program that has got some agent function which maps percept histories to the actions. So in our case we can say architecture is like our body, skeleton structure, and program is like our brain. Now we need to understand not simple agent but rational agents. Let us try to understand the bit of this rational agent with a simple example. Let me remind you the film you have enjoyed a lot, Robo film, where the protagonist, the hero, comes out with a robo and he subjects it to the test in front of the professors. You know, the professor, Mr. Bhore, I suppose by the name, antagonist, he tries to confuse the robo, makes the robo to run, and suddenly he gives an instruction to kill the person who has created the robo, nothing but the hero itself. And the robo goes and tries to kill the hero. At that point of time, the antagonist issues a command of stop. But the point here is how correct it was to try to kill the person who has created the robo by the robo itself. Now that is an irrational activity. So there is something beyond just doing. Whether whatever is being done is right or wrong is a point that comes into scenario. So that's what, if an agent is able to identify what to be done and to think on whether it is right or wrong and do the right thing, then it is a rational agent. So let's go with these rational agents. An agent should strive to do the right thing based on what it can pursue and the actions it can perform. The right action is the one that will cause the agent to be more successful. Why we should have a rational agent? Any agent will perform, but if you perform a right operation will lead you to the successful operation. So it enhances the performance. All the right actions will enhance the performance. And because every agent is successful or not is based on some performance measure. So whenever we have an agent, we should also keep it in idea that based on what we are going to evaluate, the performance measure. So here performance measure becomes an objective criterion for success of an agent's behavior. So any agent will have a performance criteria. Performance measure, for example, if I have a vacuum cleaner agent, could be amount of dirt cleaned up, amount of time taken, amount of electricity consumed, amount of noise generated, etc. All these things can be considered as performance measure. So in case of rational agent, I can define it as, for each possible percept sequence, a rational agent should select an action that is expected to maximize its performance measure. Now every time it should select such an action which will maximize its performance measure given the evidence provided by the percept sequence and whatever built-in knowledge the agent has. Any action is based on the built-in knowledge. Now how this knowledge base is defined or designed, that we will discuss in the later sessions. So we should understand that rationality is distinct from omniscience. Omniscience is like all knowing with infinite knowledge, but rationality is to know what is good or what helps in improving the performance. Agents can perform actions in order to modify future percepts so as to obtain useful information. Now this is like information gathering and exploration. Now an agent is autonomous an agent can act on its own. So it becomes an autonomous. An agent is autonomous if its behavior is determined by its own experience. Now you are not giving any extra information. It is extra rules or extra conditions. It is learning on its own based on its own experience. So that ability to learn and adapt makes the agent to become autonomous. Such an agent we can call it as an autonomous agent. Now let us try to understand this piece. Generally, the environment in which the agent performs is considered as a task environment. The task environment can be specified using P's. P stands for performance measure, environment, actuators, sensors. So we must specify the setting for intelligent agent design, under what circumstances the agent is going to perform. Let us take the example of task of designing an automated taxi driver. So we should evaluate this for the P's: performance measure, environment, actuators, sensors. Let us take the example of medical diagnosis system. Performance measure is healthy patient, minimizes cost and lawsuits. Zero lawsuits if there for the doctor, then it is the best doctor. Environment is it will be working in the environment of patient, hospital, staff. And what actuators it can have? Screen display like question test, diagnosis, treatments, referrals, etc. And then it senses information using keyboard. Obviously we need to enter the symptoms, findings and patient answers. Those becomes the input for the here agent. One thing what we need to understand is an agent need not to be a physical thing. An agent can be a software agent, hardware agent or software agent. In this case it is a medical diagnosis system which is acting as a software agent. So can you think on P's for the task of designing an automated taxi driver? So this is the piece for the automated taxi driver. So thank you, happy learning, see you in the next session.